What's up, Mocha Latte here. I've had some requests to share how I approach playing lead and improvising without it sounding too much like I'm just playing a scale. So it's very much something that I had to overcome when I was first learning the guitar, which is the reason why I'm using this particular axe. This is my axe of choice for today. It is FrankenFloyd, and those that have checked out my Article 13 video, thank you very much. But you'll know that this is a new project, and it started life as an Encore, and I called it Encore FrankenFloyd. Spray painted it matte black, and the pickups are Texas Specials, and this humbucker here was taken from my Blue Ibanez guitar. It was the stock pickup, I don't even know what it is. Now, that's not important. What's important is this guitar is not some £1,000 expensive guitar. This is just any guitar that anyone could pick up as a starter beginner guitar. And I wanted to use this one in particular to prove that although the other ones are easier to play and they stay in tune and they feel more comfortable, you don't have to be playing crazy expensive guitars to be able to solo and to be able to improvise. So don't let that hold you back. You can do this on any kind of guitar. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to loop a part of a song and we're going to go through things, and I'm basically just going to start playing using the A pentatonic. This is a bluesy feel that I got from my darn jam tracks. The link is in the description below, so please check it out. There's a few more things that you can check out on that channel as well, but for starters we're going to play this blues feel backing track in A. Now I will talk over what I'm doing, but for the most part you're just going to see guitar vision. So without further ado, let's check this out. What I've got here is this guitar sound. For those that don't know the minor pentatonic scale, we start on this note here, which is an A. And I'm basically going to label this 1, 2, 3, 4, as in the fingers that I use. This is finger number 1, this is finger number 3, this is finger number 4. Number 2, we don't play in this case. So we're going to go 1, straight to 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, and then 1, 4, 1, 4. Now, what's cool about this progression is it's a typical 12-bar progression, and it's going to start with basically like a 7 chord. Don't worry about what chord it is, just know that it's A is the note that's going to always sound good over that chord. Then it changes to the 4 chord, or what in this case is a D dominant 7 or D7 or D9. Very funky chord. Then it goes to an E, probably this one, and then back to some variations of A, D, and E. So this is called the pentatonic scale because there are 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it goes back to the octave, which is just the next version of this note. And then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we've got the next version of that A. So A is there, and A is here. When we get to the D, we want to ideally be focusing on this note. That's not always the rule, but in this case that's what we're going to look for, which is also here. When we get to this note, or this chord, we want to be focusing on this one, or this one, because they're the same. So what's good about this is we can get those 3 notes from that one scale pattern. 1, the 4, and the 5. But the first thing that we're going to do is just literally be playing these 4 notes. The reason why I'm setting this kind of restriction is because I don't want us to be worrying about all of the notes in that scale pattern straight away. And that's going to be our task, is to make this sound as musical as possible just by doing the things that we know we can do to the notes. That could be sliding, could be bending, could be vibrato, or a combination of all of them. Hammering on, pulling off. And one of the main things that I find really useful when playing in the bluesy sort of style is your picking attack and varying that. So we can go. And we can use that to add more variation. So instead of worrying about playing millions of notes, we can play those 4 notes and give them all character, and that's what we're going to be starting to look at. So any combination of those 4 notes is going to work. And then we're just doing more things like sliding into it, vibrato, some bending. Now we can add some more notes. So I'm going to add one more note, and it's going to be this one here. And we can also bend up to that. Or slide. So now we've got and that chord change sounds really good with that note. So this is all about listening to the chord changes and figuring out what note works over it and what note doesn't. For instance, doesn't sound that great, but over this chord, which is it, that note works. Then we go to the 5, to the 4, now we're going to add in some of the other notes. So and instead of playing this note here, I'm going to play it here. I'm And that means that for the most part, the entire time that we play with this scale, I'm just using these two fingers. Notice that I'm putting that one in there as well. The lower octave of that. So we're just going to play around with those notes for now. Now let's add these two. That's the same as this one, so that's kind of cheating. So let's add this one, which is the same as this one. Or now that extra note that I added in there, this one, sounds really wrong, doesn't it? It's also here as well. There's literally no part where that sounds cool. But as a passing note, it sounds very cool. So let's do a little bit more with this. Some of the cool things that blues players do is they tend to start with certain motifs. So instead of just going all out craziness, like all that kind of jazz, or blues in this case, they start with an idea, maybe like, they make it sound like it's not just a bunch of notes playing. So that's with us playing just that one shape. With one extra note, which is the blues note, or what's called the flat 5. The one that sounds wrong. Now if you know that one shape, there's also the same notes, but you can play them in a different position on the fretboard. And what I mean by the notes is it's not necessarily the exact. But that note here, for instance, is also here. This one here is also here. So that means that there's more than one pentatonic shape. And I don't just mean that you just move it here. It means that we can play the exact same notes, be in the exact same key of A, but we can start it here instead. And we can still be in the same key. Now that opens up loads of more lick possibilities. Probably heard that bluesy kind of lick before. Now when you add in those wrong notes, we know that there's one there. So where's the other one? It's there. So now we can go. Now that one at the top is one of my favourites because you can do this kind of lick. And then we can apply that in the other direction as well. So for instance down here. once you get familiar with them, you can create lots of different licks. So for instance here, doing that targeting of the flat 5 or the wrong note sounds different to me going. But it's still got that bluesy tone to it. And if you did it up here, we can take it one step further. And we can take it even further. And then we're here. Or that first one. So once you know all of the different scale shapes, you can start to mess around even more and develop your lead playing. It all stems from that same place of trying to figure out what notes work over what chords. Now, some extra things that blues players do is they'll sometimes do a lick like this. Other things you can do is do some string skipping. So that's it, we're just literally taking that one scale shape, the pentatonic scale, looking at it in different places. And then we added a few notes to it, namely the blues note, the wrong note there. Then we were just messing around with it over the backing track. But we were really listening to what note is going to sound right over what chord, and using everything that we've got in our toolkit or our arsenal of technique, vibrato, slides, hammering on, and bends. And then stuff like raking. Just to give it more character, and that's basically what lead playing, or that's exactly how I approach lead playing. I think, how do I play these notes? Not necessarily how should I play the notes, but what do I bring to it? How do I want to approach playing that? Do I want to dig in a little bit more? Or do I want to play a bit softer? And it's all about feel. So for me, that's exactly how I approach lead playing. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. I fear that I may have gone a little bit too quick in this, so I'm more than happy to break it down. But this was a request from someone that I know has got some amazing chops already and good technique, but I think it was more just how do you break out of that feeling of... But the truth is, you can play scalic runs, but it's about how you approach it. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Have a great rest of your week, and I shall see you soon for even more. Peace!